Well, good morning. Welcome to a rainy day outside. I hope you enjoy the rain. I don't mind it, to be honest with you, because I do appreciate rain, and I know it's going to be nice for the next few days afterwards. So bring it on. And we need some rain anyway, so that's a good thing. It'll definitely help things green up here in the coming days. Welcome. It's Saturday, February 31st of, whatever year, just to add to the confusion, because why not? And so we're having a little fun today. As you can tell from sometimes the way I write and some ways I preach, I do appreciate the English language, mostly for the conflict that it creates, because it's always so strange and weird. And so one of the things I wanted to do today was to, it's also based on what we're going to read later, but some of that has to do with the nature of the English language, that over time, things that used to mean a certain thing now mean something very different. And so I got a list of things that are kind of interesting for you, so you can mess with people's heads in your house this afternoon using these words in their original meaning instead of in their current meaning. So the first one is the word nice. The word used to mean silly or foolish or simple, more like the sarcastic version of when you say to someone, nice, right? Now it means something pleasant, but it used to mean something silly, simple, or foolish. Meanwhile, silly, the word silly used to be in the opposite of kind of what it was. In its earliest uses, it referred to things that were worthy or blessed. So if something was silly, it was worthy. What an interesting thing. So from there it came to refer to the weak and the vulnerable, and more recently to those who are foolish. This one's maybe kind of familiar, but the word awful. When we think of the word awful, it's something that's, just a terrible thing. It would be awful right now to have a blizzard, right? I put all my shovels away, so you can blame me. But awful used to mean worthy of awe, something that was worthy of my amazement. So there's a variety of reasons when you maybe read old expressions when it talks about the awful majesty of God. It's that awful moment. Number 4, because I enjoyed being a youth pastor and I enjoyed body humor, this one kind of relates to that one, but to fizzle. Right? If something fizzles out, it's kind of like the fire goes away. It just kind of fizzled out. But originally, the word fizzle meant to produce quiet flatulence. So there you go. See, like as a junior high youth pastor, formerly, stuff like that's always funny. Number 5, fathom. It can be hard to fathom how this verb moved from meaning to encircle with one's arms. That would be to fathom somebody, right? And now fathom is a very different word. My wife can appreciate this one, a clue. Centuries ago, a clue was a ball of yarn. And let me tell you, we're like crime fighters in our house. We have lots of clues around, for sure. Number 7, if you had a myriad of things 600 years ago, you literally had 10,000 items. Not just a whole mess of things, like they might say in the South, but you had 10,000 items. Number 8, naughty. Long ago, if you were naughty, it means you had not or nothing. So to be naughty was to not have anything. It became evil or immoral, and now you just kind of understand it as badly behaved. Number 9, spinster. As it sounds, spinsters used to be women who spun yarn, right? It was an actual profession, a legal occupation, before it began to be synonymous with an unmarried woman. Bachelor. Bachelor was a young knight before the word came to refer to someone who had achieved the lowest rank at a university, a Bachelor of Arts or a Bachelor of Science. And it is used currently for unmarried men after Chaucer's day. Number 11, flirt. Some 500 years ago, if you were to flirt with something, would mean to flick something. So when you're at your picnic on Saturday and there's flies that land, yes, flies will come back. Too bad they can't get coronavirus and die, right? But anyway, to flirt meant to flick something briskly or in a jerking motion. Now it involves playing with someone's emotions. Number 12, egregious. It used to be possible for it to be a good thing to be egregious. It meant that you were distinguished or eminent. right? But in the end, the negative meaning of the word won out, and now it means that someone who is conspicuously bad. And finally here, number 13, quell. Quelling something or someone used to mean killing it, not just subduing it. So if you're going to quell someone, it's not just to kind of lessen it, it's to get rid of it. All right? So words change over time, and it's a fascinating thing to think about how words change over time. And there's the list can go on and on. All of our words really morph into things that we, you always have to kind of ask people what they mean when they use a certain word, because you don't know what that means. So, back to this book, written by Rich Mullins, The World as I Remember It, Through the Eyes of a Ragamuffin. He talks about a word here that's changed over time, a very churchy word, and so we'll dive into that. It says this, the word sacrament, and this is the word for the day. Sacrament is a non-biblical word used to describe something that may loosely or be strictly biblical. It comes from the Latin sacramentum, which means a military oath of allegiance taken by a soldier, an oath that bound him to his mission, his post, his commander, etc. So let me rethink that again. A sacrament was a military oath of allegiance taken by a soldier. It was an oath that bound him to his mission, his post, his commander. The common usage of this kind of distorted the word sacrament, much as the meaning of other words like love, anointing, and now family. But if we look back, we dare look back, we may find some power behind these words. If we look back, say, to the prophet Isaiah, we can see God describe himself as a warrior, a soldier sworn to waging peace, expanding the borders of justice, armed with love and truth. If we dare to look back, we may even see God not as this nice, passive, passionless, Breck lady-looking mystical thing, and we may discover a maniac God, a God who is wild and ferocious, uninhibited by our arrogance, unafraid of any cruelty, a God who is passionate about people, and one who would truly go to hell and back out of love for us. If we dare look back, maybe we can look around and see all the oaths of allegiance through which he has shown his faithfulness to us. Bread and wine, water, even frail, shadowy little human commitment, the rainbow. He showed his allegiance to us in the boat that Noah built, in the bush that Moses saw burning, in Aaron's budding rod, and in David's 5 smooth stones. We can see it in the wall of Jerusalem, in the fact of the Bible, in every star that pierces the night, in the changes of the seasons, and in every new morning. Maybe we can hear it chirping, in the chirping of crickets, or in the sound of old friends laughing. Won't that be a good thing when we get together and get to laugh together again? You can feel it in the hope and the yearning within us that will not go away. Maybe the heavens do declare the glory of God. Maybe the skies do proclaim the work of his hands. And maybe they themselves are his proclamation, his declaration, his sacrament of love, his commitment to us. Some say that there are 7 sacraments. Some say that there are only 2. And some say that there are none, and maybe they're all wrong. Maybe there are countless sacraments, countless oaths of God's allegiance to his own glory and our hope of salvation. I just love that because, we're so adamant. The people who would believe in the 7 or the 2 or the none live in a whole lot of work to provide evidence for the reason that they believe. And maybe there's countless oaths. Maybe we're missing something. There is, of course, one very great and startling one. That one's the empty tomb, and the one whose body laid in it, and then walked out from it on its own 2 feet. Next to Jesus, maybe all the heavens and the hills of earth, all the music, all the works of art, all the rainbows and the wines and the burning bushes and the boats seem like tiny tokens, great as they are. And maybe the issue is not so much about how and through what God swears his love as it is about whether or not God does love. And this is how we know what love is, that while we were yet sinners, Christ died for us. I hope you see the faithfulness of God in everything he has made. I hope you learn to trust all that he is, we start over. I hope that you learn to trust that all of this is his care sworn to you. But mostly I hope that you know Jesus, through whom God has wildly and ferociously loved us. I hope you know and that you become sacramental to your neighbor, who God also loves passionately. I hope you leave them little doubt about his love and the victory Jesus won over hate and death. All those little oaths that the soldier would swear to his commander and to his post and to his mission. May we see all of those oaths that God has made towards us, and may we live in some great moment of offering those oaths to one another and to our God. I hope you have a very blessed day, and it'll rain a little bit today, but it'll be green over the weekend. And maybe that's helpful for us for understanding the moment that we're in too. A little rain brings a whole lot of green. We'll see you when it greens up.